Okay, so now we're going to use this bars, these lines that up and down. Notice on question number 17, there's a V in between the lines. We're going to call that absolute value. Absolute value is basically distance. So there's this number, or there's this letter here, we call it V, but there's this number that is 7 spaces away from 0. Okay, so absolute value, those lines we're going to call absolute value, and absolute value means distance from 0. Now let me draw my number line. Now, interesting here it is that this thing, it doesn't tell me whether my number is to the left of 0 or to the right of 0. If it was to the right of 0, let me see. I will have to go 7 spaces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now these numbers are basically +1, +2, +3, +4, +5, 6, and 7. Now, if I went to the right of 0, the V is 7. But what if I went to the left of 0? What if my numbered actually went to the left? So let me do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And those values basically represent -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7. So this could also be -7, right? Absolute value of V is 7, basically means I'm 7 spaces away from 0. But we have to consider, we have to think of 2 possible cases. Is this letter to the left of 0, so it's -7, or is it to the right of 0? So it's +7. We don't know. We don't know if it's to the left or to the right of 0. We have to count both cases. So my answer would be -7 and 7. Now, some of you might be thinking, interesting. 7 is 7, and my numbers were -7 and +7. Let me take a look at question number 19. I'll come back to number 18 in a minute. Let me take a look at question number 19. Okay, this distance is 5. Okay, what if I went to the left? So here's 0. What if I went to the left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I go to the left, it's -5. Okay, what if I went to the right? Okay, from 0, let me count my spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My other value is +5. Interesting. When the distance was 7, my numbers could be either -7 or +7. When my distance is 5, my numbers are -5 and +5. So when my distance is 10, I'm going to say my values could be -10 or +10. And when my distance is 4, I'm going to say my values could be -4 or +4. Absolute value, and again, those big lines around a letter, absolute value, I call it +4, is basically the distance from 0. So I have to think absolute values will give me 2 solutions, a negative solution and a positive solution. Notice that's what I have on all my answers. Let me say that again. Absolute value will give me 2 responses, a positive value or a negative value. Now, interesting though, is that when I have the absolute value of a number, so let's say absolute value of 5 will always give me +5. The absolute value of a -5 will still be 5. Now I'm looking at question number 19. That's really what I mean. Okay, so the distance of +5, the distance from 0, of positive 5 is 5. The distance of negative 5 is 5. Interesting is that no matter what number I'm looking at, which number I was comparing, am I looking at positive 5 or negative 5, my value outside of the absolute value will always be positive. So here, for numbers 17 through 20, I didn't know the values of the letters, right? I didn't know if my numbers were to the left of 0 or to the right of 0. It's just telling me that distance is a positive number, but I have to consider both cases.